to me. It's never ending. You can give anything, so you can go, go, go. Go, 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 yeah. So I can focus, I just need to focus on myself. Oh, you better go, go, go. Go, 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 yeah. So I can focus, I just need to focus on myself. Yeah. So you can go, go, go. Go, 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 go. So I can focus, I just need to focus on myself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You better go, go, go. Go, 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 go. So I can focus, I just need to focus on myself. Baby, baby. Hear it on the phone. If you got something to say to me, then say it to my face. What it's all about, why you're bailing out. Think you owe me an apology. Just say it to my face. You're sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. Say it to my face. You're sorry. And I quit my job for you, even quit some friends for you, 'cause you couldn't stand it, me all independent, so you had to have me for yourself. That was when I trusted you, when I could add up 2 and 2, when you promised we'd be together, you, me, forever. Now there's nothing left to lose. And though I understand it's hard sometimes to make up your mind in these trying times, yeah, I just can't accept you leaving me when I'm overseas with the heart so heavy. Think that I deserve the truth for once, not a guilty tone, 'cause you're not alone, yeah. You said you wanna come home, but I know you don't. So this time
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
The day is Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. It's difficult to understand what it is that you're going through as you're going through it. It's difficult to ascertain where you are on the arrow of time. But if we don't really take a step back and realize the type of pandemic we're really in, a plague of ignorance, greed, bigotry, and devastation. If we don't take a step back and realize that, then we'll never really understand what's going on. Let's unpack that today. We begin with On the Clock with Georgia Ford.
Expecting mothers and their partners are scrambling right now in Lowville, New York. They're trying to figure out where exactly they will be able to deliver their baby. Now, typically, they would have been able to deliver their baby in Lewis County General Hospital, which is not too far from Syracuse, New York. But it was announced yesterday that the General Hospital there will be putting a pause on deliveries. And the reason being is because more than 24 medical professionals have resigned, all because the hospital decided to mandate vaccines. I want you guys to take a look at this. This is the latest coverage on the issue.
2 weeks ago, the Public Health and Health Planning Council approved a revised emergency regulation requiring the COVID-19 vaccine for healthcare personnel. The new regulation removed the religious exemption option. The deadline for personnel in general hospitals and nursing homes to receive their first vaccine dose is September 27th. The regulation does allow for a medical exemption. Access to health care is an essential service. I have been asked several times if I support the vaccination mandate for health care workers and others. The answer is unequivocally yes. The mandate ensures we will have a healthy workforce and that we are not responsible for transmission in or out of our facilities. We as employees have an obligation not to put those we care for or our co-workers at risk. Since the mandate was announced, we've also had 30 employees who have resigned. 464 individuals in the health system are now vaccinated. 165 employees are not yet vaccinated, and it is not clear what they will do. The number of resignations received leaves us no choice but to pause delivering babies at Lewis County General Hospital. There are several other clinical departments at 2 weeks ago, the Public Health and Health Planning Council approved a revised emergency regulation.
Now, Ben, I mean, I feel like this is unprecedented. You have more than 24 employees who are stepping away from their jobs as professionals, medical professionals, saying, I refuse to get vaccinated, and I am therefore willing to compromise my livelihood, my professional career, and not even considering the way that this is going to impact these families. Can you imagine being days away from your delivery date and then finding out that the hospital that you decided to go to is no longer delivering babies?
No, I can't. As a father of 3, I cannot imagine being anywhere near in the window of having a child and having that reality come to fruition. This is a terrifying notion. And it's brought on by, honestly, let's just call it a spade a spade. It's brought on by a level of ignorance and derangement and excitedness. And sometimes we get besides ourselves because of a level of hysteria around a notion. And in this particular instance, I'm talking about all of the hysteria around the vaccine and the idea that it could have a chip in it, or it's tracking you, or it's going to be used to do this or do that, when we have seen millions upon millions of injections around this country and around the world, and people are fine. You know who's not fine are the people who are not vaccinated.
Well, and let's say that these medical professionals decided to stay but not be vaccinated. What position is that in turn putting pregnant mothers, their newborn children, and any family that's there to support them in the birthing process? So if you have medical professionals who probably are going to be dispersing these vaccines anyways, but they themselves have not taken them, what if they were exposed to COVID, let's say, picking their own child up from school or going out to eat because they're not vaccinated? Then they're now in a position as a medical professional to go into these hospitals as they're dealing with patients and, number one, be hypocritical in dispersing the vaccine that they haven't even got themselves. But then, number two, putting people's lives at risk because they could be a carrier of COVID-19.
That's right. That's right. And this is this is the absurdity of the moment. Notwithstanding, people have suspended with their own sense of self-preservation, right? That's the thing that blows me away. We are dealing with irrational actors, so much so that they are putting the lives of their children at risk. But here's the thing. They're not simply asking to put themselves at risk or their children at risk. They're asking to put you and I at risk and our loved ones at risk because it is their determination to not get the vaccine and their insistence on being able to facilitate critical jobs like, being a nursing assistant in the birthing process or any part of the healthcare system is so critical. And they are insisting, this small group of very vocal anti-vaxxers, they probably overlap with the anti-maskers group. And there's some overlap with January 6th. We can unpack that at another time. The problem is that this group is asking to put other people at risk. And I don't understand why our leaders are capitulating to them.
Well, and I do believe that it's likely we could see more of this. I think this is a direct result from Biden's announcement saying that there was going to be some mandates on the vaccine for people who have been receiving federal contracts. And he had a list of different employers, if you have more than 100 employees, I believe. And so I do think that more companies are going to be put in the situation where once they have to start enforcing that vaccination mandate, we can expect that those people who have been refusing to get it, those people who have decided to get tested each week instead of showing you their vaccine card, they might not stick around after we have to start enforcing these vaccination mandates. And so what is it that companies can do to mitigate their losses? Because in this situation, in a hospital where you have patients who are depending on the medical services, I mean, you're putting people in a bad situation. And so, people got to start preparing for this, whether it means recruiting more part-time, finding temp workers. There's going to have to be some plans put in place because I think this is what we're going to see across the board.
Georgia, I absolutely. I think you're spot on. And I think we need to recognize that this is what we're seeing. This is in motion. What we're seeing right now is almost a concerted effort to ensure that we get the worst results imaginable in terms of this pandemic, in terms of every other aspect of our organizing. And it's the absurdity of the moment, right? It is so absurd that we're dealing with a situation where the people who are in power or the people who are competing to get power, they're doing so based on the premise that we need to do worse with the pandemic, that we need to not have mask mandates, that we need to not have vaccine mandates, right? And they're fighting against not only the president of the United States at this point, they're fighting against the best interest of our species. And these are the people who are being lauded and rewarded, and they are currently in power.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, what's on your radar this morning?
Well, as you can tell, it's the pursuit of power in California that's happening in the recall election of Governor Newsom. And it has to do with the opponent in the form of Larry Elder. Let's catalog this in the category of everyone whose skin to you is not kin to you. I want to play a clip of Larry Elder. He is the Republican candidate who today is going up against Gavin Newsom in this recall election. Let's take a listen in.
when I said to this man that I was a libertarian. He said, I had the libertarian candidate for vice governor of New York on my show. And I asked him, when you were in the Senate in the mid-'60s, would you have voted in favor or against the civil rights legislation in 1964? And this man said he would have voted against it. So I'm asking you, Larry Elder, what would you have done? To the extent that those laws mandate any kind of interference in the private sector, yes, I would have voted against it. I, like a lot of people, are very upset that there is even something called the Americans with Disabilities Act.
I do not believe that the private sector should be governed by the government. I think any private...
I want to hold it there because there's so much more that we're going to discuss in terms of that recall election. But Georgia, the thing that I really would love your insight on is how this guy, who not only is anathema to everything we stand for in terms of progress, liberation, justice, Black lives, he is the person that is being lifted up by the opposition to say, hey, California, never mind you have some of the highest vaccination rates in the country. Never mind your economy is doing better in this pandemic. Never mind all these things that are going right. There are some things that are going wrong, but we don't think we want somebody who's going to fix the things that are going wrong. We want someone who is like Larry Elder, who is going to make what we're doing right go worse. And I just don't get it for the life of me, Georgia, why there's so many people in this country who are committed to absolutely enacting the very worst policies, even when it's to their own detriment.
You know, I think that there's a number of things that I could speak to on that. But the one that stands out to me is white supremacy is not possible without people like Larry Elder.
Come on.
In order for white supremacy to work, we need Black body people to be able to carry out those initiatives and those objectives. White supremacy can't work without Larry Elder. And all white supremacists are not white. Let's be clear that dominant society can use a pawn like Larry Elder to keep the Black community distracted from the moves that they're making that really are, you know, in the realm of capitalism. A lot of these corporations invest in different political campaigns for their own agenda. And sometimes their agenda is a distraction. If you're focused over here, what else is happening in California that we really need to be paying attention to? What is it that's happening there in that state that some of the people who are running for office or some of the people who own the largest corporations don't want constituents paying attention to? And also, when you look at the fact that Black and brown communities at times in this country historically have not participated in the voting process, it's easier to get people like Larry Elder out or Larry Elder in rather. Or the other thing to that is what's the lesser of two evils, even with the Trump and Biden election, right? When people did go out and vote, there were so many people I remember interviewing that weren't really excited about Biden. They were excited about Trump not being in office.
That's right.
But they weren't, you know, really happy with Biden. He was just the lesser of two evils.
That's right. That's right. I'm in full transparency. I've said as much. I basically had one requirement of Joe Biden, in addition to what we need to get in terms of criminal justice reform, the George Floyd Act, reparations, all the above. But at the end of the day, I needed Joe Biden to not be a fascistic dictator in the form of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump was going for the gold. He was going for the grand prize, which was the totality of this democracy. And so I agree with your sentiment. A lot of us energetically opposed Donald Trump more so than we energetically supported Joe Biden. But to that
so
end,
can't that same sentiment be true in this race here, where people are going to despise Larry Elder so much that they don't care who the other candidate is? They're just going to vote for him because they don't want this fool in office.
And therein lies the difficulty, right? As Black people, particularly, we have to be able to split the difference. Just because we voted against, and yes, California, by all means, make sure that Larry Elder does not get anywhere near power. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I have one more clip that I want us to play really quickly. It is the fact that he is a direct philosophical descendant of Donald Trump in the big lie. Here he is already before this campaign is over saying that he won't commit to the results of the election. Let's take a listen.
Whether or not you win or lose, will you accept the results of the election tomorrow?
No matter whether you're a Democrat, an independent, or a Republican. Let's all make sure that the election is a fair election. So let's all work together, no matter what the results are, to make sure that the results are valid and legitimate, and everybody who voted should have voted.
Now, we're talking about California, Georgia. We're talking about one of the deepest blue states in the country. Now, this is an opportunity for a Republican to take power because the structural problems in California, it gives them the opportunity to do this over ever so many years. We see there's a recall election, and that's usually a good spot for Republicans to seize power. But he's trying to make it seem as if he's not going to get a fair shake in a deep blue state. And he's trying to sandbag the conversation just like Donald Trump.
You know, have you ever met a halfway sane Black Republican?
To be fair, I have, but I don't see them anywhere on the national stage. Anywhere.
I haven't.
At all.
Every Black Republican that I've ever met, the more I get to know them, the more there's just something not right. There's a screw loose. Was dropped on their head as a baby. I don't know. But I'll say out of all the Black Republicans, and I've met quite a few, I mean, they all have something that's Larry Elderlish about them.
Preach. I'm not stopping.
I don't know what it is.
But I will say this.
Black Republicans.
I will say that there is that there is in a way, perhaps Larry Elders of the world and Candace Owens of the world, maybe we could view them through the lens of themselves being a reaction to white supremacy, and their way. Not saying it's right, because it sure as hell is not. But for them, their triangulation is the best way for them to survive white supremacy is to align with white supremacy, while the rest of us are saying, no. The way to do it is to tear it down. But we're going to talk about that a whole lot more in the next half hour, unless we go further. You know, Georgia, you get me talking and I'll get to running.
Absolutely. But first, I want to touch on what's happening in Texas. I know we followed intensively the new abortion bill that they passed there, but Governor Abbott is actually trying to do some bail reform as well. This so-called bail reform bill, I think, is going to impose some huge disparities for people of different economic statuses. I want you guys to take a listen of this clip where he discusses and defends his bill.
We need better parenting, greater parental involvement. We need to restore God in our communities. If we do that, we will be able to reduce crime in this region. Kind of easy to diagnose the causes for the increase in crime in the Houston area. We've seen a rise over the past 2 years in Texas, in Harris County, but also across the United States. There is increasing disrespect for law enforcement that has grown quite aggressive against law enforcement. You're facing a crisis that is a consequence of having elected a lot of judges to the bench in Harris County who ran as Democrat socialists. These Democrat socialist judges, they do believe in letting people out of jail as opposed to keeping people in jail. And that's why you have more criminals, convicted criminals, who are back out onto the streets endangering public safety.
So this new bill is going to require cash upfront in order to bail out, basically preventing people who don't have the money from bailing out. So if you're in a position, you're affluent, you committed a crime, you know, it'd be easier for you to get out. And what Abbott is trying to argue here is that because of different laws that have been passed recently, we're seeing more and more violent criminals be released from jail, and he's trying to prevent that. But the disparity it's going to cause is the people who can't afford to get out whether they're innocent or not, are going to be stuck in jail.
Yeah. Cash bail has always been a racket, particularly one that it exploits the poor and the marginalized communities, of which Black people are disproportionately represented. So therefore, this is a problem directly for the Black community. And to be quite honest, this is part of the problem is the framing that Abbott is allowed to get away with here. Like he frames this as if it is problematic that we look at the criminal justice system and determine that there are people who should not be in jail. Because how many times, Georgia, have we seen story after story after story of people exonerated after the fact? Some of them exonerated after they've been executed. How many of our boys are in jail right now because they sold some weed when there's an entire booming industry getting ready to erupt to the tunes of trillions of dollars just in marijuana sales alone? So I dare to say this entire framing is incorrect. Absolutely. Let the people out of jail that are doing time for crimes that people are getting ready to make money off of. So there is an injustice in this system. And what he's doing is peddling dog whistles of the highest order. That first part about not having parents at home, that's reminiscent of Richard Nixon. That's the Southern strategy at play.
Absolutely. And when you look at the United States, we're the most incarcerated country. And to continue to put systems in place that prevent people from getting out, it is only going to create a country where we not only have an issue, clearly, because we're the most incarcerated country, but this is going to turn into a pandemic of its own.
That's right.
If we allow governors like Abbott to pass these kind of laws and then point to, like you said, communities, that don't have both parents at home, or these little subtle dog whistles where you're isolating the Black community. And you know who did a great job of uncovering this? Ava DuVernay in the movie 13.
That's right.
And when you look at the way that the incarceration system has basically taken the place of slavery.
That's right. No, absolutely. It is a quick way to get cheap labor. And I want to be sure this usage of cheap labor is not germane just to the Republican Party. There's a lot of Democratic governors who like to take trips to Stone Mountain and pose for photos somewhere around 1992, but I digress. There's a lot of people who are culpable with this prison industrial complex. And this is just another way of exploiting not only Black people, because watch out, white folks, if you don't have that cash bail, well, I mean, you have some advantages. Maybe you don't get arrested in the first place. But if you do find yourself in the same lot, you're going to have to pay some of this cash bail, and you better hope that you come from the right side of the tracks.
And the thing is, everybody in the whole entire nation heard about the abortion bill. How many people have heard about this bill? How many people are talking about this bill? Not as many, not even half as many. Right. And the sad thing is, I think you're going to have governors like DeSantis and other governors who roll in that crew who are going to look at this bill and consider adapting it in their own state. And so if we start to implement these types of reforms, it's not going to be good for people who look like you and me.
Absolutely not. And this is where I have a problem with Democrats, because some of the people who sign off on these reforms look like us, vote with us, and expect our vote every single election. And then when it comes time for it, those reforms, those dollars, when someone like myself says defund the police, I'm talking about those reforms that you keep sending extra dollars to them, that those reforms are now coming at our expense. Because how have these dash cams and these body cams actually benefited us, except for when we can pry it out of the hands of the criminal justice system through force? Otherwise, they use these reform dollars to their own personal benefit.
Yeah. No, and I think about Mayan Burrell, to your point earlier in the conversation about people who are innocent. Mayan Burrell was released from jail, I think about a year and a half ago, after sitting in jail for more than a decade. He was arrested as a teen and later found out that he was innocent. And so to move in this direction and not acknowledge that you have innocent projects in each and every state across this nation who are actively advocating for people who are in jail and are innocent.
That's right.
You know, this is not reform. This is not reform by any means. Reform would be investigating all of these people who were incarcerated, especially those can you imagine spending 10, 20, some people 30 years in prison for something you did not do. And instead of figuring out a way to make it easier to get people who are innocent out, we're sitting here trying to make it harder for people who may not even be convicted yet to get out.
Sister Georgia, the best way I can put it is if the world seems upside down, then perhaps we need to reevaluate how we're looking at this world that we're in, because perhaps instead of us thinking that we can save and salvage this system that we were merely survivors of, we need to realize that this system is not for us. And unless we're able to change it from the molecular level, we're going to always be fighting against a system that was designed to harm us.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Well, that's all we have time for this morning, but stick around for more on The Benjamin Dixon Show.
Good morning, people. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy, James Bubba Williams. DJ Exclusive is in the building. Good morning, everyone. Grab your coffee, your tea, whatever it is you need. It's dark. Don't light it up. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, y'all. You sound like a dying dog back there. Everything okay? Everybody, good morning. Oh, Ben, that's what we call it now. We start playing. Y'all, Ben in the background singing. One day, Dwayne gonna turn the mic on. Now we gonna do that. That's the boss. We gonna do that.
I'm in line with the stars. I'm in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides. Like even when I die, I'm a ride for the squad. Let her ties in the hearse. I've been on the vibe, kind of hard to describe.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all come on in, get your tea, coffee, whatever it is you need. Get your morning started. Let's go, y'all. Good morning.
Got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson. Do that ass survive, doing 80 to the house. Then I hit it to the sky, change haters on a tirade. Talking to the crib in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all want the same. We all want a meal in the safe. I wanna live like I'm trying to reach enlightenment. Trail spill from my lips, feel big from the bib. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense. Cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beats with the
good morning, everybody. Sonny Wright, Anna Hart, good morning. Ron Bryant, Brother Tyler Hackett, good morning. Patricia Palumbo, good morning. Miss Patricia. Franco, Bernie Hart Dragon, good morning, Bernie. Brother Latif, what's going on? Shout out Latif from Malaya, good morning, y'all. On and on it goes, Dragon, good morning. Derek Fuller, Roller Dragon, what's going on? Kev Z, what's going on, Brother Ray, good morning. Brandy Rebel, good morning to you. Courtney the SLP, good morning. Six Dragon Daddy, good morning. Jan, good morning, Jan. Oh, wow. Good morning from a good early afternoon in Berlin. That is awesome. Awesome. Good morning, Jan. And welcome to the channel. Magdalene Moon, good morning. Dragon Dane, Evergreen, Blue Daddy, good morning, y'all. Daniel McClure, Absolute. Good morning, y'all. R.S. Lee, good morning. Brother Mark S, good morning. Leon Turner, Afraid Not, good morning, y'all. Peter S, Esther Broshin, good morning, everybody. Alicia, good morning. Laura Estrada, I know I see you somewhere in there. Good morning. Shout out Chuck Diesel. What's going on, brother? Good morning. Jeremiah, good morning. Carly Wynn, Brenda Johnson, good morning. Miss Sophia, I know you out there somewhere. Good morning, Miss Sophia. Monica G, good morning to you. Buenos dias, Monica G. Buenos dias. Brad Hampton, good morning. LaTanya Banks, good morning. DP, good morning. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming up next on the Benjamin Dixon Show, y'all. Until then, we're going to get some of this good music going. You guys are wonderful. You set my soul on fire. Love you guys. Mean it. Dragon Day, and I love you too. Oh, you make my heart sing.
My
Love
soul on fire every morning.
Miss Sophia, we definitely gonna send a prayer up for you, man. Miss Sophia says, good morning, everyone. Please say a prayer for me, y'all, because I feel so bad. Sophia, this is us lifting you up. We hope that you feel better, all right? You know, if we need anything, we got you.
Making you move, it sure looks good.
Lisa Noel, good morning.
And it cool like you know you should.
Crimson Spice 72, good morning to you. Good morning, Lily. Good morning, sweet Lily. I love Lily. Good morning, Lily. Good morning, y'all.
I'm running too high, I need to cool me down. I'm flying so high, I don't see the ground. I'm running too high, I need to cool me down. I'm flying so
Right, DP mine too. Tiger, good morning, brother. Nat A, good morning to you.
baby, you set my soul on fire every morning and every evening. And maybe we
Courtney, good morning to you. Veronica, good morning. Says we tuned in. Good morning. Ear Hustler, good morning. Shelby Hall, good morning.
taking your time and I sure don't mind. But every inch of my body's getting wild, wild, wild.
Pixie on the Moon, welcome. Good morning to you. Shout out to our moderators, man. Good morning, y'all. William Moore, good morning. Good morning.
I'm running too high, I need to cool me down. I'm flying so high, I don't see the ground. I'm running too high, I need to cool me down. I'm flying so high, I don't see the ground. Baby, you set my soul on fire every morning and every evening. And maybe we can't get any higher. But if you like to take a ride, we can discover what we're hiding. Baby, you
Shout out to everybody on Twitch this morning. Shout out to everybody that's streaming. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're streaming from. Good morning to you. Semi Lynn, the Kind Dragon, good morning. Yes, I am in Twitch right now. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, all my Twitch people.
we can discover what we're hiding.
Fastest Killer, good morning.
Baby, you set my soul on fire.
Mimosa Dragon, good morning. Rachel Letney, good morning, y'all.
We can't get any higher. Yeah.
All right, y'all, it's time for the time. It's time for my brother from another mother to come on the screen. Y'all give a shout out to my man, my brother from another mother, Benjamin Dixon. Good morning, y'all.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, September 14, 2021, and I am joined on the screen by none other than DJ Exclusive. Brother James Williams, how you doing, man?
I'm good, sir. How about yourself? Brother James Williams, how you doing? I'm good, man. How about you?
I feel like you know, I got to bring you a cake. Hey, get down, Brother James Bubba Williams,
okay.
DJ Exclusive.
Ow! Get up.
Get on up. It's your bad self.
Right.
We have the responsibility of breaking the news to you without breaking you. Therefore, we do embrace fully the ethic and the ethos of the dad joke. Because after I get done battling with these wickedness in high places, James, I got to go out here and do some yard work with the kids. So,
sounds fun.
It is. It is. My daughter's out there with the saw and she's just taking it on. Like she's like outside is where she wants to be. So that way you keep me level headed and keep me from like saying something on air that is going to take me off the deep end. So I'm looking forward to the dad jokes today. So that's it.
You know, I got you. I got some new ones too. So,
and I've got some clips as always. Let's start with James. I see in my head, I'm working on some science fiction stuff. Shout out to all the Doctor Who fans in the audience. Got my little Doctor Who cufflinks here. Working on some science fiction. And one of the science fiction things I see in my head is like this valley. Let's just to expedite the conversation. It's the valley of the shadow of death. And at the top of it, I see this monstrous mountain of propaganda. And at the height of the mountain of propaganda is none other than Fox News. And the height, the apotheosis of propaganda in this lifetime is none other than Tucker Carlson. Take a listen to this clip as he discusses the first clip I want to play and make sure I want to make sure we got the right one is of him admitting that he lies. And he makes it kind of sound like, oh, well, yeah, of course I lie. Everybody lies. James, I've been doing this particular work for 6 years and not once have I lied. Now, if I got something wrong, I'd be glad to correct it. And I know you're the same type of person. But
right.
To get on here and just say, oh, yeah, no, casually like, oh, yeah, of course I lie. Everybody lies. Yeah. Look at who's at the top of Propaganda Mountain, Tucker Carlson. Let's run that clip.
When you have to cover some idiotic thing that Stelter said or Cuomo, just these clown people, when you have to cover it, right? Or Don Lemon, as you call him, like how do you think they live with themselves at this point when they just lie again and again? And we have the internet to expose the lies. This isn't 20 years ago when you were on CNN.
Yeah.
And we couldn't expose things. We can expose it now and they still do it.
I mean, I lie. If I'm really cornered or something, I lie. I really try not to. I try never to lie on TV. I just don't, I don't like lying. I certainly do it, out of weakness or whatever. But to systematically lie like that without asking yourself, like, why am I doing this?
James, now, notwithstanding any problematic areas for people in general, because this is not to say that none of us have ever lied in our lifetimes.
Right.
But brother, have you in your time doing your work, this work with us, just lied and then so casually say, of course I lied, like it's no big deal?
No. It's like, why? It's like admitting that. I mean, yeah, it's okay to tell a low white lie, like you said, every now and again, but doing this work, no. You know why, Ben?
What's that?
Because people are going to do their research and go find out the truth. So, hey, it's best to be transparent and clear at all times. There's no reason to lie, especially doing this line of work. You're lying to make yourself appear better than what you really are.
That's right. That's right. And here's the thing that blows me away about this clip is the other guy, his name is Dave Rubin. Not the brightest tool in the shed, to say the least, but clearly he confidently sets up this false premise that that it's us that's lying. Those of us who are fighting for justice, those of us who are fighting for Black lives, those of us who are fighting for equality, a more perfect union. He's saying that we're lying. Dwayne, cue that back up. And I just want to hear the question as posed by Dave Rubin.
when you have to cover some idiotic thing that Stelter said, or Cuomo, just these clown people, when you have to cover it, right, or Don Lemon, as you call him, like, how do you think they live with themselves at this point when they just lie again and again, and we have the internet to expose the lies?
Right there,
this isn't 20 years ago when you were on CNN.
He's trying to make it seem like, oh my goodness, I can't believe these liberals and these progressives are lying, and we could just go back and check the end. No. Here's the thing, James. Truth is truth, right? And I don't care how much conservatives convince themselves that they're on the right side of history. They are dead wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then for him to say, we have the internet to expose a lie. Hey, I want y'all to know that this goes for y'all too. Tucker, especially you, brother.
Especially. And it's very easy to find, man. It's very easy to find, like, the lies. Here's one of Tucker Carlson's lies where he's talking about the decision of Roe versus Wade. We've been covering everything that's happening out of Texas. Here he is lying about the decision of Roe v. Wade by the Supreme Court when it was originally brought down. Take a listen.
Last night, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled on a new abortion law in the state of Texas. That decision came down, by the way, 5-4. That's the exact split that decided Roe v. Wade almost 50 years ago. So it's good enough to have meaning. This time, the court upheld a Texas law that effectively bans abortion once a fetal heartbeat is detected. Typically, that's about 6 weeks into a pregnancy. There he is lecturing us about Roe v. Wade, the sacred 5-4 ruling that invented the right to abortion. Out of nothing.
The first part is the part, man. He said it was a 5-4 decision by the Supreme Court in the Texas case. And, oh, by the way, here's the lie. Roe versus Wade was a 5-4 decision. And so what he's trying to do is like, if Roe versus Wade was decided with a controversial split of 5-4, then just like this decision in Texas was decided 5-4, then surely this decision in Texas, or this decision by the Supreme Court as it pertains to the Texas heartbeat law, surely it's okay. Here's the problem, Tucker. We do have the internet, and we can easily Google what the decision was. It was 7-2, not 5-4. 7 justices on the Supreme Court voted in favor of the decision of Roe versus Wade that ultimately hinged on a woman's right to privacy, to make these decisions with their doctor, the Fourth Amendment, all that stuff. The point is Tucker Carlson is lying. And he admitted as much. And it reminds me, James, of the clip we played of Rand Paul when he admitted in front of that audience at the Benjamin Rush Society. He admitted that he uses propaganda, that he uses misinformation to get a strategic advantage. So I think people really need to take into consideration that when people tell you who they are, believe them, because at the top of propaganda mountain is not only Fox News, but it's Tucker Carlson, who just admitted to you that in the course of doing his business, he lies to you, America. That's it. I want to go to our daily dose of evangelicals. This is something that I want us to focus on a regular basis. We get a lot of clips from Right Wing Watch. They're doing the due diligence of monitoring all of the evangelical pastors across the country that are spreading the message of bigotry, of the big lie, the message and the gospel of Donald Trump. And in most cases, the message of anti-Semitism and any other ism that you can conjure up, we're going to find a malignant cancer of it present at the evangelical camp meetings. Here's a first clip of QAnoner and Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, as she declares that Christians must rise up and remove ungodly leaders from power and replace them with a, quote, righteous men and women of God who realize that the government should be taking orders from the church. Take a listen in.
You have the Lord God Almighty on your side. I need you to use your voice and speak. What if Jesus showed up today and said, from this point forward, everything you say, you will have it? He said it. That's exactly what he said to us. So what are we saying? Are we going to sit and agree with the enemy? Are we going to agree with what the enemy is doing? Are we going to sit back and complain and murmur? Are we going to speak life into this nation? Are we going to declare that God removes these unrighteous politicians, these corrupt, crooked politicians, and installs righteous men and women of God? It's time the church speaks up. The church has relinquished too much
Well, James, yeah, there you go, man. We got to make sure that we follow the religion of whatever. And we could really quickly, easily identify the difference between what the Jesus that she's preaching about and the black Jesus that I know you and I we serve. But isn't it funny that this congresswoman, this is a U.S. congresswoman who is also a QAnon conspiracy theorist, who is also an adherent of the big lie that she still believes that Donald Trump didn't lose the election. And here she is inside of this evangelical church preaching the gospel of Donald Trump and the gospel of white supremacy.
And did she say that it's time to get these crooked politicians out? Girl, you one of them. How's why you getting yourself out of there then? What is... I'm sorry, y'all, because this lady...
It's the absurdity of it all, right?
Oh, what's the name? Looking like she ran for president.
Oh, Sarah Palin looking at
Palin.
And she got the Paula White. She looked like Sarah Palin with the energy of Paula White. You know what I mean? And that should tell you everything. In a minute, she's going to start calling for African angels from the East and the West. Oh, man, these people bring me joy in a very sadistic kind of way because it's kind of like staring at a train wreck.
Yes, man. At least the hell looked somewhat decent.
Yeah. It's laid. Here she is with part two. Lauren B.
Oh man,
is what we're going to call her. Lauren B. said God spoke to her and called her to run for Congress. She said, "Yes, God, I'll do it. I'm not concerned about my education and the fact that I have a GED. Shout out to everyone with the GED. It didn't matter that I wasn't qualified in the world's eyes because God qualifies those who He calls. Oh Lord, let's run the clip."
So when God said that to me, I said, "Man, maybe I'm not using the gifts and callings that God has given me appropriate all the time. But to hear God say He created me that way for His purpose, I had to answer the call. I had to say, yes, God, I'll do it. I'm not concerned about my education and the fact that I have a GED. Actually, I didn't even have it then. I got it later. It didn't matter that I didn't have the money or the political influence. It didn't matter that I wasn't qualified in the world's eyes, because God qualifies those whom He calls. He justifies us. He equips us. And He gives us the tools that we need to walk out His calling. He's not going to call you to something and then say, go ahead and figure this out. He's going to lead and guide you every step of the way.
James, actually, I want to get Rebecca's input on this one because this is slick.
Yeah,
what she's doing here is really slick because she's saying all the stuff that everybody who's remotely, like, she's almost doing the Joel Osteen. God loves you and I love you too, and you just keep encouraged, and doesn't matter your education. It doesn't matter your education. Shout out to everyone who broke free from the system and decided to get their GED. Solidarity. But you know what? Our complaint with you, Lauren B., is not that you have a GED. Our complaint with you is that you have suspended with all reason and logic, and you are on the wrong side of the moral arc of the universe. James, let me stop, man. Go. They wild, bro.
You stupid but right. Kevsy in the chat said, Jesus, stay getting lied on.
Why y'all lying on Jesus? Jesus can't even stand y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I had a conversation with the Lord earlier, and Black Jesus told me to tell y'all that he ain't with this. He ain't with this. Hang on, I forgot what show we're on. We're on the wrong.
Exactly.
It's right. Show. We gotta catch us at the after party. But he ain't playing around with this, man. I wonder if these people really thought that they would be able to get up here and say all these. See, here's the problem for them, James. We read the same Bible. Mm-hmm. And we read and we understand the narratives that they're talking about. And we understand if we properly can, something Malcolm X taught me through one of his videos, obviously. Malcolm X said that we need to, as Black people, understand our position in our family, our society, our planet, and our universe, right? If we actually take the time to do that and we apply the same Bible that she's talking about, that she acted like she represents, we'll understand something's fundamentally true in this rhetorical kind of comparison. Lauren and evangelicals, you all are not the children of Israel in the narrative of Moses and Pharaoh. Y'all are Pharaoh.
Ben, you said a word right there, brother. Y'all are Pharaoh. Realize
y'all
that.
got that shout music from last. You got that shout music from yesterday.
Dwayne. Hey, let's get it.
I'm just saying. Like, they out here. See, when you are convinced that you are the oppressed, you will march up the steps of the Capitol and believe that you. Oh, James, I see you moving. Hey, stop it, man. Come on, man. It's too early. You got to say that for the after party.
God called me, even though I didn't have the experience. God said I had it. That's what she wanted to say. That's what she wanted to do. But no, I failed, sis. I'm sorry.
Ooh. Now, for the icing on the cake, for my next trick, shout out to the Ninth Doctor. For my next trick, Tucker Carlson, because what they're really preaching, I want y'all to be sure. What's so malevolent and insidious? That's the word. What's so insidious about what Lauren B. did here is that she presents this nice and gentle version of their very belligerent white supremacist Jesus. And she says, like, oh, well, God just wants to use you no matter your education. The sum total of what they preach always inevitably leads back to Propaganda Mountain in the form of Tucker Carlson. Listen to him as he sets this argument around critical race theory opposed to a particular situation. And he basically says, why don't we just do away with everything and just do woke culture? Listen to him break this down.
The perversion, the intellectual perversion, the darkness, increasing tribalism. It's like literally the worst thing you could do in a country like ours. I'm listening to it, I'm thinking we should just shut it down and turn it into a shelter for MS-13 baby mamas or something. Like find something useful, or a homeless shelter. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Like this is actively trying to wreck the country.
Well, I think it is. If left unchecked by the market, it will wreck the country. I think that what I'm encouraged by is so many parents looking for alternatives, challenging their school boards. This isn't just happening in private schools; it's happening in public school systems, which are far more numerous than these very rarefied little greenhouses. For parents, there really is no marketplace, and I wanted to make that point. Is that there's essentially one very good reporter in a piece recently described it as a cartel.
Totally a cartel.
And it's a cartel of ideas and a sort of moral imperatives that are run through consultancies.
Now, just so you understand, their level of concern is over a high school that they're saying should be shut down and turned over to the boogeyman from Mexico, the Mexican boogeyman, which is MS-13, right? Which is a dog whistle, just like, single mamas is a dog whistle. It's just the same thing they do with people from Mexico. They're saying shut down this American high school and turn it into a homeless shelter for baby mamas of MS-13 because this high school had the nerve to do something remotely analogous to critical race theory. James, DJ exclusive. I lie not to you. This is how far they go. Just because of the possibility that we could teach history the way it should be taught.
That's crazy. That's really crazy. Then that's all I got to say about that, because that's just the levels that they'll go to just to stop that.
Yeah. They've declared war.
It says a lot.
They've declared war, and they control all of the propaganda channels. Let's be clear. They control YouTube. They control Twitch. They control Fox. They control the cable, internet. They're in power, and they understand the power of the narrative of the people who are actually oppressed. The people who marched up the steps of the Capitol on January 6th, the reason their behinds are in jail now, most of them, or some of them rather, is because y'all didn't have an actual grievance, you morons. You got it made in America, white Christian men, especially white Christian straight men. You get whatever you want. And y'all ignorant behinds decided that you were so aggrieved in this country that you had to storm the gates of your own empire, you barbarians. James, take us to break, man. When we come back, Rebecca Zor's going to bring me out of the stratosphere. Like it or not, we're going to talk about the VMAs. We're going to talk about Nicki Minaj and her. Did you see Nicki Minaj's tweet yesterday about the vaccine?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Let's just say she had the testicular fortitude to get on the internet, on Cardi B's internet, and say something about the vaccine, and it did not go well. All of that and more, like it or not, coming up after we turn it over to DJ Exclusive, the Minister of Music of the Benjamin Dixon Show.
And you petty because you know Cardi B and Nicki Minaj be beefing. And you talk about on Cardi B internet really being, you so petty. Good morning again, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Like it or not, it's starting up next with our sister Rebecca Azor. Make sure you stay tuned.
I'm a little bit too consumed, but every part of my body is telling me to run away from you. Come a little bit closer.
Mark S. Yes. Oh, Nika is tripping.
Yeah. Come a little bit closer. Yeah. You're a little bit crazy. It's been days, but you never change. What's love got to do with it? He comes around, better knock that stuff down. Come a little bit closer. Yeah, yeah. Come a little bit closer. Yeah.
So real quick, we're gonna go ahead and get our new patrons and our new Twitch subscribers read off.
Your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly.
Esther, good morning. All right, y'all, new patrons. We have Shay, Amber G, Scott C, Simone S, April 559, Hollywood 2000, Kevin M, Zivis V, Mark, and Gray Jackson. I hope I said that right. Jackson, if I did, I apologize. Our new two subscribers, we have Soy Duffy. We have James from the One Internet who resubscribed. We also have Red Orchid 99, Big Buddha 7724 who resubscribed, Anthropologist _ out there who resubscribed, and member and fellow content creator Lost Sue rated us with a party of 18. So shout out to those, man. We appreciate y'all so much. You too can join patreon.com/likeItOrNot. Patreon.com/likeItOrNot. A couple of super chats and comments. Jam Tomb says, okay, this doesn't count as one of my jokes, okay? Jam Tomb says, Bubba, what kind of drink can be bitter and sweet? Reality. I like it. I'm here for it. Jeremiah Schaefer said, I would love to see what would happen if these Karens and Chads actually read James Cone or Gustavo Gutierrez. Exactly. Real stuff. Anyway, y'all, we appreciate y'all. Make sure that y'all stay tuned. Like it or not, it's starting up next. But until then, get y'all some of this good music.
You'll never see me cry. UGLI. That's how you spell it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Hey, Dwayne. Ran out of toilet paper and started using lettuce leaves. Today was just the tip of the iceberg. Tomorrow remains to be seen. You like that one, didn't you? Yeah, I stepped the game up a little bit, didn't I? Right. Oh, I got the whole page saved. This is going to be all right.
When I get you back, oh yeah. When
Infinite Content, thank you for your super chat. Infinite Content says, I had a woman in her 60s come pick up scripts for hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin yesterday and immediately knew where she got her news from. That is terrible, Infinite. Wow. These people are really out here buying this stuff. Man. Shout out to Ken M. Thank you for your super chat, Ken. Good morning, B. FL8 Flaw Dragon. Good morning.
No, I don't want to lose you. Baby, don't go. Don't go. When I get you back, oh yeah. When I get you back, oh yeah. When I get you back, oh yeah.
Brittany Woods, good morning to Pioneer. Good morning to y'all.
Oh, when I get you back, oh yeah. Cause I don't wanna lose you. I hope you feel that way too. No, I don't wanna lose you. Baby, don't go. Oh, when I get you back, oh yeah. I promise you'll never leave me. When it comes to you and me, there's no one else I'd rather be with. When I get you back, oh yeah. Oh. When I get you back, oh yeah. When I get you back, oh yeah. Oh, when I get you back, oh yeah.
Hey, Ben. Hey, so, you know, the World Health Organization announced that dogs cannot contract COVID-19, right? Like, so dogs previously held in quarantine can now be released. So, to be clear, who let the dogs out?
James. I thank you. Who? Speaking of jokes, I just want to introduce this audience as you get ready for Like It or Not to the coming joke in the next segment. Like it or not, there's a big joke that we have to discuss in the form of Larry Elder. Listen to this clip of the man who thinks he should be governor of California. Listen it.
When I said to this man that I was a libertarian, he said, I had the libertarian candidate for vice governor of New York on my show. And I asked him, when you were in the Senate in the mid-60s, would you have voted in favor or against the civil rights legislation of 1964? And this man said he would have voted against it. So I'm asking you, Larry Elder, what would you have done? To the extent that those laws mandate any kind of interference in the private sector, yes, I would have voted against it. I, like a lot of people, are very upset that there is even something called the Americans with Disabilities Act.
That's enough.
I believe that the private sector should be governed
James. by As you can hear, this is a black man who said he would oppose the Voting Rights and the Civil Rights Act. We're going to talk about it when we come back. Like it or not, it's coming up. DJ Exclusive, it's your world.
This man, cray. What the Uncle Tom is going on here? Make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Like it or not, it's starting up next, man. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Lipsha, good morning, Lipsha.
Walk around like everything belongs to you. Talk to me like I'm the young stupid fool. Take off all your clothes.
Right, I hear a sound. Sounds like stupidity to me.
Why you calling me honey? Why you show off your money? Wave it like it's a tissue. Baby, this is your issue. I'm not falling for bullshit. If you like me, then say it. You don't get that I see through this facade that surrounds you. Growing up, take
Shout out to Carly Wynn, man. Carly Wynn said, I got engaged this weekend. Hold on. That deserves an air horn. Let me cure that up. Congratulations to you, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all show some love to Carly Wynn again. Congratulations, Carly. Love always wins, man. I love it.
everything belongs to you. Doesn't mean like I'm a young, stupid fool. Take off all your clothes. You're nothing more than silverware. I'm over you, so done with you. I'm over you, so done with you. Why you wearing gold? You're nothing more than silverware. Thinking you're so bold, but are you always unaware? Walk up me on, got what you want. Doesn't mean me all your love, it's running good. It's what you do to me, baby, I can guarantee. Honey, I got what you need. Under the night sky, I want your eyes all on me. Don't tell me lies now, I always get mine.
Good morning, Mama and Daddy. Good morning, Mama and Daddy. Love y'all. Mean it.
Can't feel me?
Good morning, Q. Good morning.
Can you handle it? Right.
Salty, I appreciate you. Good morning. Laura Strada, me too. Just want to get up and do some roller skating because I can't skate, but that's okay. So I'll chair dance.
Trust me and you will see it. Oh, honey, I got what you want. Honey, I got what you need. Honey, I got what you want. Honey, I got what you need.
Mia M. Taylor, yes, absolutely.
No. We could take it to the stars where you wanna go. Stop, we can do. Don't need to prove you know. Honey, I got what you want.
Oh yeah, Marquez. Speaking of that, Apple has their having an event today, which means that iPhone 13. Yeah, iPhone 13. Yeah.
I always get mine.
Ooh, Laura Strada, yes. Laura Strada said, let's all meet up in Atlanta for Halloween roller night. Man, that would be so freaking dope. I'm gonna have a little walker skating team because I can't skate, so I'll be holding on all night. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the stream. My brother from another mother, Benjamin Dixon.
All right. James, I'm not going to be, you're not here tomorrow. I have to fill in. I said I'm going to call myself DJ BPD, but I know already that mix that you just did coming from that first song to the second song, nobody should expect me to do anything of the sort like that tomorrow. I'm just going to be running tracks. That's all I'm going to be doing.
Oh, come on, man. It's just going to be random songs just being played. Y'all.
Y'all not going to know if we're going to be in the disco or in the jig joint. It's just going to be a mess, but that was a hell of a mix, man. Listen, before we go to like
random funk song.
you let me, I'll put on some. You got to be, you have to have been here a little while to get that one. I digress. Listen. Right.
Hey, Dwayne done added it to his little bank library, so I know he got a button that he just pressed, and that's it.
Yeah, I just switched to a different page in my video bin, and it's right there. But I was working on putting it over the shout music, and it just didn't come out the way I wanted it to. So stay tuned. Okay, it's coming.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get. We might have to get in the mix on that because we could chop and screw it and put it on top of the chop music. But that said, talking about white jokes.
Damn,
my
man.
God, today. Larry Elder. I got a clip of this brother. Who is himself a reaction to white supremacy? Like, I see you, brother. You're dead wrong, but you know what I mean? You are not, some creature that is outside the influence of this system. You are a reaction, the wrong reaction. But here he is defending this theory of white replacement theory. And he even goes as far as defending George Zimmerman, the murderer of Trayvon, our beloved brother, Trayvon Martin. Let's take a listen to it.
The Democratic Party has lost the white vote since 1964. Unless the Democratic Party is successful in convincing people like you to tax, spend, and regulate, they need to bring in people who do want to tax, spend, and regulate, and these are people from third world countries. And it has gradually changed the nature of this country to the point where we have almost a 50-50 nation. And if we bring in millions or more people from third world countries who have the kinds of views I'm talking about, who don't have any understanding of the concept of federalism, any understanding of the concept of differences between church and state, no understanding of the concept of limited government, we're going to have more and more Democrats. And that's what they're doing. They're minting Democrats. I would rather have a George Zimmerman living in my neighborhood, and maybe if George Zimmerman were living in my neighborhood, we'd have fewer Oreo Castros. You're treating George Zimmerman like he's some sort of criminal. He's not a criminal. He's
George
a guy
Zimmerman
who cares about his neighborhood.
Shot dead an unarmed
cares
teenager.
About his neighborhood. He's a neighborhood watch guy. Don't you want people who are proactive? And there was crime in that neighborhood, Pierce. I live in South Central.
There wasn't crime from Trayvon Martin in that neighborhood.
It would have been nice to have had a George Zimmerman in Cleveland and maybe Oreo.
I don't want George Zimmerman doing my neighborhood watch patrol. No, I don't.
10 years,
I don't. I've got 3 teenage sons, Larry. I don't feel comfortable having somebody like George Zimmerman marching around as wannabe vigilante armed with a gun.
What's the guy's name from Django Unchained?
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, his character, man. Master sick, boss. Master sick, we sick. Master tired, we tired. Master frustrated, Larry Elder is frustrated. And he doesn't understand why black people can't understand why we need more George Zimmerman's DJ exclusive. And he wants to be the governor of California.
And then it's something when Pierce Morgan is going against him.
Pierce Morgan of all people.
Pierce Morgan of all people making sense. It's like, damn. That's why it's like,
you're on the next level of the La Quinta Hotel.
Come on, La Quinta.
Carl Mack. When Pierce Morgan has to defend blackness. Come on, man.
That's crazy.
I don't know for the life of me, James, why. Here's a photo. I want to bring him up. Larry Elder. We cover this next guy he's in the photo with. The next guy you'll see the photo of is Tony Moon and Larry Elder. Now, this was this week. Tony Moon, we covered him on our show with Tina Desiree. He is a Proud Boy who has been actively participating in brutal assaults across there. They are a gang that travels the country assaulting people in the name of white supremacy. And here Larry Elder is proudly taking a photo with yet another person of color who's proud to be the face of white supremacy.
Of course.
What's wrong with these folks, man?
Sounds about
anyway,
right.
And it doesn't matter what color you are. What matters is the operating system you're operating from, and they are definitely updated with the latest edition of White Supremacy 10.0. That said, Dwayne, David, DJ Exclusive. What do y'all think? Run that intro? I'm only going to let do because James, you have to do it properly. I can't do it.
She was late. I was going to roll the intro. It's about to go down. Roll the damn intro, Dwayne.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
So James, you're holding the whole stream hostage?
Oh, sorry, Dwayne.
We had our wires crossed. But go ahead and say go ahead and say it anyway. We're here.
Good morning. Good morning,
and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it.
No, I'm here. Why am I not on air?
If you was on time, you'd have been on air where you was supposed
But that was enough time to put me on air.
No, it wasn't.
That was like,
hey, Bubba, keep talking for me for a second.
So then what had happened is filibuster. We're filibustering. So cool. When Bubba filibuster, so this what happens.
But since you gotta tell why. We
guess we'll be making only inside jokes now on.
James, I just want you to understand. I see that you now know you have the power to hold the whole stream hostage when we say to roll the intro, and you just like.
I do. I love it. It's like so much power. With great power comes great responsibility.
Don't let that power go to your head.
All I'm going to say is I need Rebecca Azor to understand that this is what happens when we must filibuster. Queen Azora, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. Aside from getting cussed out from all of y'all this morning. Listen.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hey, good morning. So I see that you guys be trying to filibuster, and sometimes the filibustering is cute, and sometimes it's really not. But I'm here this morning. So welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. Yesterday, you guys were saying that there was a story to tell, and you know I always have a story to tell.
See.
So yesterday, because I wasn't here because my car, my tire went flat on the highway. And it was the most scariest thing ever. I guess I ran over something and my baby just went from tire pressure of 50 to 10. And I thought it was in the back. So I thought, okay, it's fine. It's in the back. You know, you can always control the two front tires and get yourself over. But it was the front left tire. So it was so stressful because I had talked to Ben earlier that morning and I was like, Ben, you should maybe take a walk by the mountain with your kids. It looks pretty racist out there this morning, but
the Stone Mountain, which looks pretty racist every morning, but I digress.
It wasn't Stone, it was Kennesaw, and Kennesaw is just
Kennesaw.
Racist.
Okay.
Kennesaw Mountain. They had like a whole field of American flags on Sunday, and it was the for a memorial for 9/11 victims. Now they covered the whole thing, and I had sent Ben the video like, oh, what a great day. Ben, take the kids out. It's so great. It's so beautiful. And then my sister was like, let's go to brunch. And I was like, no. She's like, yes. I'm like, no. She's like, yes. Took her to brunch. And then she's like, I want to go to your place because I want to see how you decorated it because I usually decorate my place every like season. Dollar Tree, guys. Dollar Tree is the best. But I usually decorate my place every season. So she was like, I want to see what you did. So on the way there, I turned on my music and then I just saw everybody like going over something. But I'm like, oh, it's small, you know. Then I went over it. And then that's what my car sounded like. And it was
you thought it was rattling in the car, didn't you?
It was so scary. I had to cross over, like, you know, in Atlanta, I had to cross over like 3 lanes. And they was like going so fast. And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get over. Finally get over to the shoulder. Then I had to get a little bit more to the edge. But you know,
that was you, Rebecca? I just kept on driving. No, I'm joking.
And, I always, you know what I said? I said, did anybody pray for me? Because every time I see somebody on the side of the road, I'm like, I don't know if that person's crazy, but Jesus, get them help soon. I was like, I was that person on the side of the road.
But you gotta describe how your hubcap disintegrated, because that was one of the funny.
They were going so fast. So on my little Jeep, I got like these hubcaps on there. They come off, so they're black. They're shoes, right? So this one done came because I was on the ground. I didn't even know I was on the ground. And so the hubcap flies into the middle of the street. You guys, I was about to go get it. And my sister was like, don't you dare. And I was like, I just need to get it because that was expensive. And y'all, before I could look over, them cars was doing like 150 over that thing. And after I looked again, there was nowhere to be found. Those cars disintegrated my little cap. Thank God I didn't go into the middle of the street.
I can just see Rebecca silly behind, try to run out there in her heels and her stilettos. Like, oh my God, I got you. Oh God, oh no. Oh.
You guys, the worst part about it was I was supposed to be I was supposed to be in heels and stilettos, but I was in 2 Sealy braids and Scully. I was in workout clothes, and it was a fool.
You was so you mean to get that hubcap?
Yeah,
she was.
Wait a minute. Notwithstanding the fact that you said that you went to brunch like that, Queen.
Because I had just came from running, and my sister was like, "I feel like."
Oh, okay. Well, that's a different thing.
Yeah. But I was now. Don't get it twisted. The running outfit was cute, but
that's what we were waiting for. I was waiting.
But I was looking crazy on the side of the road. They were literally. The cars were going so fast. The insurance people were supposed to come. Then they said, we're canceling because you didn't have a spare tire in your car. And I was like, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know. Like, I just didn't know. So they canceled. I was there for another 2 hours. Finally, a man who sounded like he was strong and black, he was like, yeah, I'm going to come out there and come get you. It's just going to be about 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, gosh. But he came quicker than that. The Uber driver who had to pick us up on the side, he was like, he texted us in the Uber app, this is going to be a lot, but I'm going to still come get y'all. Like, dang.
Damn. Wait a minute.
Then the man, you guys, I get to my place.
Because they had to pick you up on the side of the highway.
On the side of the highway. I had to get to my place. And I did not have the key. I did not have the key.
Rebecca.
James, you hear? So this is why she wasn't here yesterday, James.
I didn't have a car.
That's a lot.
I couldn't get into my place. So
then now your car missing one of his Lee press-on nails.
Oh man.
Yes, it is.
I saw that comment.
Yeah, I saw it. The way I did.
That's exactly what it was. It's like a press-on nail. It's missing that now, but don't worry. I've already put in the order to have it replaced. So
at least you can have it replaced, because most people, child, they'll just leave that one off and just be riding around with 3 feet on. Thank you. Don't do it. Don't do it, because I saw talk about you.
Well, listen.
I can't do it.
So because Rebecca Azor wasn't here yesterday, we didn't give our review of the VMAs and all the other things that are happening in the cultural scene that are particularly salient to the political conversation at a higher level. But
it's
Rebecca,
fine,
before we do that, what are you watching?
So VMAs were so Sunday. You guys didn't do what you were supposed to do on Monday because I wasn't here, so you guys didn't cover it. Now, today,
we covered Lil Nas. Oh yeah.
Now it's our fault. It's our fault. It's our fault.
What happened yesterday was more so very interesting at the Met Gala. The Met Gala, it's an invite only, $30,000 tickets. It's the Met Museum or whatever that does this big show, and it's like. Everybody waits for Rihanna to come out. Everybody waits for people like Tracy Ellis Ross. And yesterday was, I think, America Lexicon of Fashion. That was the theme. America wasn't doing anything that they needed to do last night, I will say. It was a lot of out of the country brands of last night that were like showing off, like Dior, like Versace, those brands were being shown off. But the political part of last night was AOC, who came out in a white number and with tax the rich on the dress. So people were getting upset online. Love the message. I think I've seen something like this before at some award shows. People have made their political statements through their dress. Some people's statements were a little bit more radical being really radically right being kind of white supremacy, maybe not what kind of white supremacy, being really racist on the red carpet. But here she is saying tax the rich in what looks like a wedding dress, but it's a really nice dress, I should say. But it wasn't only her that made this. What do you want me to do?
I'm a fan of AOC. I'm a fan of the messaging, tax the rich.
It's $30,000 tickets, but
I'm sure she didn't. Yeah, I'm sure she didn't buy a ticket.
I feel like she didn't pay, but everybody had an issue with her being there because the tickets were $30,000. This is not the first time that people have had an issue, and you can put those tweets up. But it's not the first time that people have had an issue with her wearing something or going to an event. Not that one. And
oh yeah, no, not that one. What you see on the screen now is coming up soon.
Right.
These photos.
This isn't the first time that people have had an issue with AOC coming to an event, putting, or putting on clothes or being an event. We have to remember that AOC is a part of the younger generation. And sometimes it gets in the political world, even the older generation, though, may get a little too TikTok-y on social media. But I think if we are going to represent ourselves in an American way, because this was supposed to be the Met Gala. It was supposed to be like an American fashion thing. Yeah. I think AOC kind of captured that with bringing the American politics to it. It wasn't only her. It was Carolyn Maloney, who was an older congresswoman. And she came out with her little dress, her little number that was talking about equal rights for women and draped down. She looked good. So there was representation of politics there. Somebody tweeted out she showed up to a party she got invited to wearing a loaner from a Black-owned small business. Is that not? It's not that complicated, Karen. That's because somebody was tweeting out, which I can't see. It's so small, but it looks like Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez attending. Oh, this is what I was just talking about. The $35,000 ticket Met Gala in a Brother Velez gown, blaring "Tax the Rich." It is a complicated proposition. It really isn't that complicated. If you're invited to something,
Rebecca, we gotta get you glasses. That's small for you.
It's very small.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I wear glasses. I don't know where they at. They lost.
Right. And I'm dropping a few pictures as well, too, in the Slack from some of our more prominent people that had some good stuff on last night.
They're trying to make it. They're trying to make a hypocrisy for her to attend this event, right? Which she ain't she has a congresswoman's salary, and while it's a lot more than most people make, it is not enough for her to spend $35,000 on a ticket. I guarantee you, she didn't.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter though.
Right.
If I was invited,
but that's
somewhere,
the hypocrisy that they're trying to.
I'm gonna go.
But it's not. It's no controversy.
Yeah, there's no controversy, but people will create the controversy always and forever. The only controversy were some of the outfits did not do what they needed to do last night. It's a Met Gala, my guy. Like, what were we doing? Where was the message and all of that? I feel like this was great. Like, this was cool. He did.
Yeah. Lil Nas did good. He slayed.
Lil Nas X.
Yeah, this was giving a little bit medieval. It was giving country. He did like country on one side, and then he gave like almost like some mystical comic book person.
Iron Man, some
a suit,
from the Power Rangers.
No,
he does. Goldar.
A golden Power Ranger.
Looks like Goldar from the Power Rangers.
Oh my gosh! Wait till you see this one.
Ooh, what's the next one? Lil Nas X for Goldar. I tell you.
Boosie was mad in the corner.
I was wondering.
Mad as hell.
Somewhere just
Boosie in the corner like,
can't even get into the Met. Hating outside the club. What else we got?
I can't wait for y'all to see this one. Naomi Osaka's was amazing.
Oh wow.
Naomi Osaka's gave. She gave, I think, for her heritage. I think that she really, that is not Naomi Osaka. Yeah. That is Iman.
That's Iman. Iman did her thing, though. Yeah.
Who is this?
That's Cara Delevingne. Peg the patriarchy. It looked real basic.
But we have more messages.
Wait.
That was an American. That was an American look.
She said, "What the patriarchy?"
Peg the patriarchy.
That is a revolutionary solution. I think it might work. Go ahead. Next one, please.
There's Naomi
Osaka, Queen.
So we have to understand with the Met Gala, it's like an artistic museum. You're a walking work of art, and and again, I said it was like. It was supposed to be like American fashion. I don't know who created her look, but I do see her look being her, and it still gave like almost Mulan. It almost like something like that. It gave me something like very her. her heritage, showing her heritage. I would like to think the red and blue represents Haiti, but that's just me. Y'all know she is half Haitian. So, but
I could see it.
Yeah, she gave a look. She gave a look.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Was Nicki Minaj there last night?
Nicki Minaj wasn't there. There is a Nicki. Whoa, that was a tweet that you guys brought up. So let me tell you something, guys. The way that Nicki Minaj
talk about it.
I'm so messy, ain't I?
So there's so many. Okay, guys, here. This is great. Okay, so Nicki Minaj wasn't there last night. And I know you guys are wondering, what does this have to do with politics? It has a lot to do with politics because, you know, we talk about on the show a lot of times that a lot of these stars use their platforms to have conversations about the vaccination that may not be beneficial, that may be hurtful to the cause. And so Joy Reid didn't read all of the tweets that Nicki Minaj did tweet out. It was in what she tweeted, and we can pull that up on the screen, that Nicki Minaj said that she wasn't going to be at the VMAs or any of the award shows coming up. And so she tweeted that she won't go because of COVID. So she said that she wouldn't go because of COVID. She said, I have an infant with no nannies during COVID. Who mad not risking his health to be seen? One yourself. She said, so then there was this whole thing coming out where people were saying that she said something that she didn't say. In reality, we like to take bits and parts of things and say that the person said this. And so Variety comes out and said that they want you to get vaccinated. They quoted her saying, they want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. Minaj wrote, it'll be once I feel I've done enough research, whatever. She says, I never said this. Glad all my tweets were left up on it. So she says, they want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I feel I've done enough research. I'm working on that now. In the meantime, my loves, be safe. Wear the mask with 2 strings that grips your head and face. Not that loose one, because we know we got that little one that's been holding on for 5 weeks. Let it go. It got makeup in it. Let it go.
Buy a new mask. The little dirty earmarks behind it.
In that mask. If you can still smell your breath in that mask, let the mask go. It's the time. But she gave a story and a reason why. She said, my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine.
This is the one for me. I'm sorry.
So now we can really, I can't wait to elaborate on this because I am on Joy's side in some ways, but the way Nikki came back, I was like, just have a seat, Joy. But she said, my cousin in Trinidad, this is Nicki Minaj, she tweeted out, my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend, stop acting like kids. Testicles is the word. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now, the girl called off the wedding because his testicles were swollen. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied. And I agree. I don't want anybody getting bullied for whatever decision they do make. But if you are if you're not going to get vaccinated, you need to understand that it's going to be a little bit heavier for you. That's why she did not go to the Met Gala or the VMAs. Okay. Okay. So she says, babe, so somebody tweeted out to her, Nikki, the vaccine doesn't prevent getting COVID. It prevents you getting serious symptoms. Non-vaccinated people are
11. Yeah, this is small print.
11 times.
11 times more likely to pass away from COVID.
Y'all give her the grandma version of the Bible with the large print going forward. Producers. Go ahead.
So Nikki wrote back, babe, that's not true. I had the exact same symptoms as people with the damn vaccine. That's where it becomes unhelpful. But if this is your experience,
the whole thing is unhelpful.
If this is your experience and this is your truth, why? I would never tell somebody not to share their experience or their truth. Now, these tweets are cool and all. We're the ones with Joy Reid because I want you guys to see what happened.
Rebecca, I hear what you're setting up, and I'm not going to doubt what you're about to conclude on, and I might come to your side of the equation. But sis, her story about her cousin in Trinidad getting inflamed testicles come on, that is not a symptom of the vaccine. That is a symptom of an STD.
Now, I wouldn't say it's a symptom of the STD. I don't know. But I will say that story was one of many stories that she was saying, because people were saying, hey, that may not happen. This, may not happen this. And she was writing back, okay, I understand. So there were more tweets than just what we see here, right? She actually was saying that, I'm going to have to get vaccinated eventually. She was like, if you guys have jobs that are requiring you to get vaccinated, please get vaccinated. That's your way of making money, things like that. there were other conversations that were being had. And a lot of people were saying, trying to school her, hey, I'm vaccinated. And I didn't get any of the symptoms. I can speak for somebody who has gotten COVID and didn't get any of the symptoms. And she was having actual conversations and listening. So the conversation did further from those tweets. It started a conversation with her fans and things like that. Now, when it came to Joy Reid, I think it's because Joy Reid is part of the media, and it was a straight shooter. It was easy for her to get to that because a lot of people were taking her words, and I don't think taking her words and misconstruing them, but you know how we do. We'll take what sounds hot and make it clickbaity and or clickable, I should say. And so she did that. She went and saw that, got upset when Joy Reid stated that she was not pleased.
Do we have that Joy Reid clip? Because I guess it went viral yesterday. The one, because it was a fast response. She got back to.
It was more tweets I saw.
She went after Nicki Minaj on air like within 30 minutes of Nicki sending that tweet. So her response was like knee jerk and pretty quick. So that might, agree with
Nicki's response was 2.5 seconds after she posted up. She posted up Joy Reid after Joy Reid stated on her show. And that she wasn't pleased with what Nikki said. It's problematic, and it's a disservice when you use your platform. And I say this all the time on the show, so I can agree with that 100% when you are against the vaccine. But Nikki's saying that she's scared to get the vaccine because of what she's heard. So there are rumors that she may be believing. There are things that she's believing. There are things that people have told her where she's believing. So she's basically scared of COVID and of the vaccine. But she said, I'm eventually going to get vaccinated. She said that she had COVID and she couldn't even get to her child. She shared that story. But she also posted up that Joy Reid stated that she wouldn't believe the CDC about any vaccine. And that was sometime, I think, last year.
She pulled a "this you."
So she reposted that and said, but didn't she say this about the CDC and a vaccine that they were putting out? And you were saying that was in Trump's America, that she would never believe, or something like that she wrote. So it was in that era when Trump was president. And then right after, there was an accusation of her having anti-LGBTQIA plus tweets.
Oh, well, that's from years ago.
I remember that. So what happened? She was like, but what Nikki was trying to say was, I can do the same thing that you guys are doing to me. Take things, misconstrue them, and give half truths. I didn't say all of this. I said this and this and this after. So I think it would have been good, though, if Joy Reid did have those other tweets available. And I don't want anybody bullying each other. Now, when I can actually see that you're using your platform, and some people, like I can see that she's afraid of this, the vaccine. I can see that she's taking conseil, how do you say that in English? She's taking advice from people, especially in other countries, right? And I can't say
it's like Trinidad.
It's like me taking advice from people in Haiti about COVID-19. I mean, they're okay. Like they're okay. But for me living in America, I'm sorry, no. I cannot.
I guess Rebecca, what you got to help me with, and let me know when y'all have that clip of Joy Reid, and make sure we have just that portion where she went after Nicki Minaj. I guess the thing that I'm having an issue with,
she didn't go after Nicki. I should say I wouldn't say it was an attack. It was just saying, hey, I love you. I mean it. Don't use your platform to possibly tell people not to get the vaccine.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's my thing. Like, I'm no longer concerned about the feelings of people who are still doing their research. Sorry, folks. The research has been out. What research are you waiting on?
I agree with that.
The research is conclusive. Right? You have, if I think it's 1 in 61 chance of dying of COVID-19 if you catch COVID-19. If you get the vaccine, it's like 1 in 83,000 chances of you dying. I'm going from memory off of a video that I saw from this scientist. And my thing is like, people are using do the research as an excuse because they haven't done the research. No, my man, we did the research, sis. You do the research, and the research should not include speculations on the internet when you got millions of followers saying that, like, oh, my cousin and them over in Trinidad got this kind of inflammation. You know what the real impotence come from? COVID-19 makes men impotent. Okay. One of the side effects, if you want to talk about impotency, talk about the side effect. But if she actually done the research, And here's the thing, Rebecca, the damage that is done with the misinformation, even if it led to a conversation, I'm like, yeah, I appreciate the conversation, but how many people already listen to her and think that they now their testicles are going to get inflamed by taking the vaccine?
But
go ahead.
You got to look at it different. You got to look at it as, because me and Onika share the same birthday. So I see where she's coming from. You have to look at it as research is like, let's be real, y'all. Black people don't look at the research of scientists all the time. We do, because we have more sense than that. But a lot of the reasons why these black neighborhoods and a lot of people in the black communities are not taking this vaccine seriously, are doing it like they should, is because they're listening to the opinions and effects or whatever of other people that have already taken it, or getting information from all these other places and not professionals. Y'all just listening to somebody else. Oh, well, my cousin got it, and my cousin say her little testicle swole her. Say his little testicle swole up. So I'm not getting the vaccine because I'm scared. But no, you got to do your own research. But I do respect the fact that she did say she's not going around anybody. She's staying masked up, and she's not bringing anything around her kids. So I can respect that point, that she's doing it that way. These other people out here, they saying don't wear no mask, don't do none of this stuff. You do whatever you want to do in XYZ. At least she has enough gall to say, stay masked up. I'm not going anywhere. I'm doing my part and I'm staying in the house. So I can give her props for that. But the part about her cousin, girl, you shouldn't have posted that, girl. That's just stupid.
Yeah, it's maybe that was her testimony, that was a story. But I agree with both of you guys. But then, I don't like the bullying on either side of the spectrum. I know that getting vaccinated is, to me, y'all remember me? Y'all remember me before I was vaccinated? I was like, I'm scared. Yeah. I have these pre-existing conditions. Let me talk to my doctor. That was my form of research. I had to do what works for me, because we didn't have all the answers. All we knew was that this vaccine will save you from dying from COVID. But what are the side effects, right? Like, some people were saying they were getting really, really heavy periods, bad cramps, those kind of things. I wanted to know how it was going to affect me and what days I needed to take off work and all those kind of things. Like I was really, really afraid. So you got to do your research. I do believe in doing research. And I also do believe in while you're doing your research, do not encourage anybody to be out there in them streets either. Like I say this all the time. If you aren't going to get vaccinated, that's your business. I cannot go into a screaming match with you, but you need to stay your behind in the house. And stay masked up, stay away from people. Know that you can give this to somebody within 2 seconds. You are somebody who is a threat to society. Like, just know that, right? And I've seen so many people do the opposite of what she has done. And that's take the platform and tell people F the CDC, and tell people. And Joy Reid got a whole tweet that still says that out there in Beyonce's internet. But grace is given to people, right? We gave grace to her because she had to understand and she had to learn. For whatever reason she tweeted that, I don't know. And I could have been in that same position while I'm having conversations with my folks, okay, my mama and daddy who did not want to get vaccinated. Are you listening to me? Who's talking about it's not gonna get them. This is in the beginning of when this thing came out, and I'm over here listening to them. They're like, don't you get vaccinated, you ain't gonna have no babies. You ain't gonna have this. You already know you got pre-existing conditions. You already know you got this. And it was scaring me. Then I had to tune them out, get myself together, understand that if I'm going to travel, if I'm going to be around people, I'm by myself here. If I were to get sick, it's just me. I had to put all those things into perspective for myself. And I had to say, okay, if I get sick and survive, that's a better opportunity for me. I do not want to get sick and lose half my lung. Like, I run. I don't want to stop being a runner because breathing issues related to COVID-19, because I wanted to go and, jump the bridge in my Jeep to try to get to somebody. We don't need to do that. So the messaging that she did, I think wasn't too it was harmful, but it wasn't too harmful because it led to a conversation, which helped her clarify what she was trying to say. That's her business. Okay. But do not tell anybody, oh, COVID ain't real. Because she's saying she's let people know that COVID is real. She let people know that she wants to do her own research on the vaccine. I do agree with you, though, Ben. It's been a year. Right? It's been over a year. So a lot of the research is out there. But this is her time that she wants to take. This is the time that she wants to take to go ahead and research now. I'd rather her do her research get vaccinated, and that's good. She told everybody, if it's for work,
do your research is becoming do your research is the same to me as when Jesus comes or when the revolution happens.
Now that I can agree to. When is the revolution happening, child? When?
Occupy until he returns.
It's supposed to be Saturday, right? But look, though, it makes sense, though, because when I got the vaccine, I was the same way Rebecca was, because I was hearing from, even though I had did my research, I'm still hearing from so many people that they got real sick. It seemed like they had COVID. It was like a lot of stuff that I was hearing. So I was scared as hell. And at one point, I'm like, man, I really think I'm going to wait to get this vaccine. But then I started seeing how worse things got. And I'm just like, yo, I really have to get it now. And I just have to see what happens. But even if you still do your research, that vaccine is going to affect you. It affects everybody in a different type of way. I got sick as hell.
Facts.
When somebody else in the household got the vaccine, they didn't get sick at all. When I got both of my vaccines, I got sick as a dog. And then another thing taking into account,
I do want to let me ask you, James, was, qualify
the Trinidad, huh?
But when you say sick as a dog, like I want because somebody else will hear that and they'll say, oh, he got like COVID sick. You didn't get COVID sick as a dog. You got what were your symptoms like?
COVID symptoms. Only thing I didn't have was a loss of smell and taste, but tiredness,
did you have a loss of breath?
A little bit, yes. Tired. It was really bad. Like I literally took the day off. But the next day, it was like nothing happened.
You get sick, but you know you're going to heal from it, right? And with it, mine lasted the second shot. Mine lasted about a week and a half. I don't know why, but some people's lasted 2 weeks. But it's just different things. And like I've read people's experience. I love how people are documenting it. But at the end of the day, once you come out of that, you are going to be highly protected from dying from COVID-19. You're still going to have your lungs.
At the end of the day, right. I got a piece of research that I want everyone to do. If everyone is going to research and you're still waiting on doing research for the COVID, I got a name for you to Google. Kizzmekia Corbett. Kizzmekia Corbett. Kizzmekia, last name Corbett. She's a Black woman scientist who is one of the key developers of the vaccine. Look at her story. Look at where she comes from. Look at her roots and why she was on the front line of this. And she is one of the key players in the creation of the vaccine. Doesn't mean, and then of course somebody's going to say, well, Ben, just because she's a Black woman doesn't mean she can't be working for the man. And then that's when I'm going to say, at some point, we just got to stop with the absurdity, folks. We know this government is very capable of doing some pretty malevolent things. But I want to ask y'all the question. If the vaccine was so bad for Black people, why is America doing, the entire international community, they're keeping the vaccine from the global South. They're keeping it like we're having to fight tooth and nail to get the vaccine in Africa, right? Rebecca, you've covered the shortage of vaccines in Haiti. They're keeping it from Black folks. So to me, it suggests that they want it for themselves.
They want to sell the vaccine.
Mm-hmm. They want to sell it. That's what that is.
The vaccine. So listen, it's so funny because it's always going to be two sides. People saying this, people saying that. First, it's like, oh, it's free. The fact that the vaccine is free, Black folks, the fact that the vaccine is free, it tells us what we need to know. It tells us why is it free? That we guinea pigs. And that's how I felt in the beginning. I'm like, hold on now. Wait a second. I feel like they're trying to drop them off somewhere. Then in reality, the truth was they weren't dropping it off in Black communities. They were making the places far for people to go get vaccinated at the time when it first came out. Then people didn't even know that it wasn't costly. It didn't cost anything. People didn't know that. People like who? Me, Rebecca Azor, on this show, on Like It or Not. I literally asked you guys because I didn't know. There was not enough information out there that let me know that the thing was free. Yeah. That the vaccine was free. Okay. So, and at the time we only had this one system that was rinky dink that you would have to type in where you lived to find somewhere that was going to vaccinate you. So all of that, people were all going to put all that and be like, that's a problem. They trying to use us as guinea pigs and all that. But then I started to look at it and say, I don't know if that's true. So, and then who were the ones getting vaccinated first? The rich. Okay. And So when you look at the countries, like when we covered India and what was going on there, remember, guys? And people were saying
over there.
There were no oxygen tanks. The oxygen tanks were so old that they were trying to use, and they were passing along the oxygen tanks in that line until, just to get a breath, just to get a breather, because they were not able to breathe. We saw this with our own eyes. We did. And it made for good TV. It did for us to see it. But we were not offering them people help. We offered them the vaccine at a cost. At the time, offered them the vaccine at a cost. Something that wasn't even FDA approved yet. We were greedy America.
And to be sure, this is how ridiculous this country is. Like, while we're hoarding vaccines here in the United States of America, and we have a whole bunch of, I'm sorry, I got to go on a tangent.
Go ahead.
I, for one, say bully every single person who's still out here BSing us on this vaccine, because 700,000 people, if me bullying somebody is going to help us stay away from 1 million people dying, I think those 300,000 potential deaths that we could prevent would appreciate us bullying them. And so, Nicki Minaj, if you haven't done the research, then might I suggest that you're quiet until you do the research before leveraging your platform to confuse the conversation. Even if there's some decent conversations that came out of it, y'all know that first tweet always goes further than the follow-up tweets.
I just don't bully anybody. That's just what I say. Now, when they are just out there saying like that,
or we sit by and watch them, let them die. Like the guy in our other video.
Didn't die. It's your choice. Didn't die. That's how y'all have to look at it. Then, girl, if you don't take it, die. Girl, that's fine.
We're not doing any of that.
Man.
No, seriously, because it hurts people when they're trying to make a decision. I know everybody isn't as quick, as fast, as smart, as whatever as everybody else. Whatever. We might take a little bit of time. It took me a little bit of time. I wish I would have gotten vaccinated sooner. That would have probably eased a lot of my anxiety, but I was just so afraid. But when I did it, I did it. I didn't push anybody else. My sister was like, "Oh, see, look at you. You should have never went and done it." A lot of people were afraid for me, my friends, my family, but I was like, let me be the example. I know that I'm going over to Mexico. Like, I know that I'm going to be traveling other places. Even when I went to New Orleans for that weekend, they required the vaccination, right? So, a lot of the people in my life who weren't vaccinated either got COVID or there was some COVID hit close to home, and that was their cause to do it. Nicki Minaj got COVID, and she said it in her testimony that I got COVID, and that was the worst, not being able to touch my child, not being able to be around my child. So this is something that I really want to look further into. So it's those things. People are going to have to choose. I know that the beginning of the conversation, because when I first saw, I said, "Oh no, Nikki, no."
Right.
No. But sometimes we do got to read a little further. I know sometimes it's hard in the social media space when everything is kind of like microwave. When we get it, we get it in the line.
Attention span gone.
That's good enough for us. But I think
Rebecca, you do know. You're the number one person, and I'm not saying this to correct you, but I'm saying it to point out you understand the responsibility of these people with these platforms, right? You understand, like, once you have millions of people who hang on every word, that once you say something, like I can't just go out there and tweet anything that I want to tweet without actually thinking about how it's going to impact people. And I think Nicki Minaj, in this instance, at a minimum, she did not think this thing through in terms of her responsibility as a mega influencer. Her personal business is her personal business.
You can't say
but
that.
She got committed. Why not? She got a responsibility.
That's why it became that's why it became a conversation. I've seen other.
Well, then I got to bully her out of the paint so that people can see the stupidity of the moment. I can't leave stupid people with platforms and then blame people who are following the stupidity. Like, it's got to be like, we're going to get these piss poor influencers out the paint, or they got to be responsible with their platform. Otherwise, we're left like sheep to the slaughter.
So let me be clear, right? Sheep to the slaughter. That was word to Bubba. But let me be clear, very clear, Crystal. I do not condone anybody using their platform to speak against getting vaccinated or to bully anybody into getting vaccinated or, whatever. Because like I said, that I don't roll with it. I have been the person on the other side, right? And you guys coached me through it. You didn't bully me into getting vaccinated. You coached me through the reasons why I needed to get vaccinated. I watched you get vaccinated and I watched Bubba get vaccinated. I saw what you guys told me, what your experiences were. I literally was like, okay, there's something I need to do. I stayed my behind in the house. Okay. When I did not go anywhere. It was a lonely time for me. I made sure that I wore my mask, and I advised a lot my parents who were not going to get vaccinated to wear their mask sometimes. And I used my platform. That was my truth, right? People in the comment section even encouraged me as well. Hey, Beck, like you should get vaccinated. This is why. I think that moment for Nicki Minaj starting off the conversation that way was, and trying to have these different instances, but people were like, that's okay, Nikki, but let's look at the numbers here. And Nikki was being responsive to it. She wasn't being rude to those people. She was being open to it. That's what I'm saying led to conversation. I've watched people, and I don't even really care for Nikki like that. That's just my truth. I'm not defending her because it's Nicki Minaj. No, I saw where the conversation led. These are conversations that are happening in households. Some of these conversations lead to people saying, F the vaccine. I don't want it. Yeah. There's something in it, all that. But this was a teachable moment, I think, for her. And the conversation led to a lot of her fans doing, helping her out on that. Like, hey, sis, hold on. You a little wrong here. Okay. Let's kind of look at what the numbers look like. Let's talk about this. She even said that she's going to have to get vaccinated for work. She even encouraged those who had to get vaccinated for work to continue that. That's a good thing that, whatever. Right.
So she's still encouraging, people, right?
Yeah. But she's saying that her choice is that. But at the same time, I get it. Using your platform 100% to have a conversation that that will construe, like that will take things left. Like the woman that I told you guys about day in and day out, even after she got vaccinated, she was like, well, the only reason I got vaccinated was for work. But still, like at the end of it, like never gave, after months of telling people the CDC is trash, the CDC is wrong, that vaccine ain't right, all of that, telling her whole platform, never having full conversations about it. Every time that the conversations were brought up, she told them, nobody's going to tell me what to do. Ain't nobody going to tell me that. I know the vaccine. And I'm just saying, y'all over here getting vaccinated and still getting, it was very, very harmful. Never offered a conversation, got vaccinated for her funds, for her bank account to get herself together, and still was in these streets the whole time partying and hosting events. Okay. Now, and then that other guy I was telling you guys about who chose skincare.
Yeah. What's your boy name? What was his
Zoe,
name?
who chose skincare, who literally said it on his platform. People were trying to have a conversation saying, hey, you may want to look into it, right? He was like, I don't even care. I don't even care.
Was he the one that said the vaccine the mask messed up his skin?
They were saying if you're not going to get back, they even said if you're not going to get vaccinated, sir, just put on your mask at least. He said, I don't do masks. You see, some people are the ones that are not even accepting to the conversation, not even accepting to listening, not even accepting to saying, hey, like, right, Rebecca, I hear what you're saying.
I gotta interject only because we got about 60 seconds left here. This conversation, we're gonna light it up in the after party and finish it out. Patreon.com/like it or not, because it's rare. Like it's a subtle shades of disagreement here that I think are going to be really, really important to the national conversation, because y'all aren't wrong. Nicki Minaj wasn't totally wrong. It sounds like Joy Reid got read for filth. We got her clip. Let's finish the conversation in the after party. Patreon.com/like it or not. Rebecca, get the last word, and then James, take us to the after party.
Joy wasn't wrong. Nikki may have started off wrong. The conversation ended better, and it caused us to have a actual conversation about it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Some people are saying, Rebecca, just stop. I was Nicki Minaj on this show. If you guys roll the tape, you guys will see me having the conversation.
Don't tell them that. We don't want them to go back and watch all the.
No, it's okay, because it was a teachable. It was a teachable moment for me from you guys. I asked you guys questions, and you guys helped me understand. And guess what? Rebecca is waxed and vaxxed. Let's take it to the after show.
And then another thing too, David, I want to know what vaccine did they have in Trinidad that her brother took? I know somebody in the chat did say something about it, and that vaccine was a variation of something. So 9 times out of 10, it wasn't Pfizer or Moderna. But yeah,
I got to make sure we close out with this though. This one point of clear information. There's no ambiguity between the three of us. All three of us agree that these side effects from the vaccine are nothing compared to the side effects of dying of COVID-19. We all
of COVID-19. Hello.
Take it to the after party. We'll be back.
Amen. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Well, actually, you can't stay tuned. You know why you can't stay tuned? Because the after party is starting on next week. And if you have not already, patreon.com/likeitnornot, patreon.com/likeitnornot, or patreon.com/WBD show. Make sure that you go ahead and join so you can get access to the patron parties, after parties, and also some exclusive content, man. Thank y'all again for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all in the after party. And if you're not in the after party, go ahead and over to our brother Pascal and visit him on the Pascal show, okay? This show is starting actually now. All right. If not, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh, for those who want to know what my shirt says, it says Blacktastic. The beating got kind of Blacktastic is what the shirt says. But I'm allergic to the rain. What happened to euphoria? Oh, oh, oh. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. For those who are not coming to the after party, make sure that y'all do great today. Do great things. And your affirmation for today is, I'm allowed to say no to others and yes to myself. Again, your affirmation for the day, I am allowed to say no to others and yes to myself. Go be great, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Taco Tuesday.
From the start, by the way you stared, the way you wrote upon me, yeah. Man, I felt your energy. Wasn't used to being loved and treated differently, yeah. But something went wrong, the signals got crossed, and now we're on completely different pages. Let's go where we were, where no one gets hurt. Baby, keep it right there. Don't you stress the flow.
Somebody drop that link for me, please.
Face up, we should take it slow.